You got a gun, you got a big gun, you got a gun, it's not a real one, and all you ever think about is running away, all you ever think about is trying to stay away from me.
Alright guys, and welcome back to another episode of MMA Yesterday. This week, we're going in order, but the order is a little funky if you are not familiar with the old events. So this is UFC 7.5.
The ultimate 95. I think the G-Man named this event.
Oh, by the way, listen, you just let the G-Man out of the bag.
He's back, baby.
He's back.
I love it.
We've been missing him for a couple events. He was not at 5, 6, or 7, right? Buffer was at 6 and 7, and there was I can't remember who it was, but a guy that was pretty decent at 5, but it wasn't him. So I'm pretty sure the G-Man was 1 through 4. Now, I will say, guys,
I know it's so sad.
In the first fight, he does his normal thing, right? He says the last name twice.
For the first contestant.
Which
was who? Who was the first guy?
It was Tank Abbott.
It was Tank Abbott versus Steve Jenham.
Yeah, which we'll get to the fight order in a second. We're just jumping ahead for a little bit.
It's typical.
When he gets to Steve Jenham, who's his opponent there, he doesn't say Jenham twice, which is the first time that I've heard it. And for a moment there, let me just say,
we were sad.
I thought that our G-boy had truly became the G-Man. And decided that that's fucking stupid to say the last name twice. But then the next fight, he's right back to it.
Yeah.
So
for the rest of the card,
but except he misses it like once or like one more time or something.
He must have been drunk.
Know. He must have been. Listen, he's not used to it. He's had a couple events off. He's not used to it.
You know what? We're still missing somebody really important to me and my heart. He's still gone, and
I don't think he's coming back, man.
I miss you, Jim.
I don't think Jim's coming back. I think Jim's done at this point, which is really unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right, let's go through some of the stats for this one. Like we said, this is UFC 7.5, so don't get confused when you see the episode is named UFC 7.5, because that's what the UFC refers to it as. I mean, this isn't crazy. So this is in between events 7 and 8, and
look into it.
Just look into it. And this is just that. By the way, again, my name is Kyle Steele. Joining me, as always, is Mr. Matthew Hitchcock.
Yo.
And joining us this week again, Kody Sortman. Hello, Kody.
Yo, what's up?
All right.
Good to have you back, man.
Good to have you back.
I'm just here to soak up all of this knowledge of yesterday.
There it is. We have, this took place December 16th of 1995, at the very end of the year there. So our next event is going to be, we're filing into 96. So that's kind of cool. Took place in Denver, Colorado. Rich historic MMA history there in Denver. 2,800 people were in attendance. The buy rate, 251,000.
That seems like a big jump.
It's a good one, man. That's a good jump.
Back up.
Well, and rightfully so.
The card was big.
The card was stacked.
Without a super fight, even.
I would rather have this.
No
hoist.
Nothing.
That's a big... See, that's a really good point. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. But this shows that the two guys that they built up as being like, these are the holy shits of the UFC.
They're not necessary.
Right?
They're not necessary.
It's just fighting. People want to see fighting.
They're integral to the growth and
exactly.
the beginning of the sport. But yeah, we're doing good buy rates now without them.
Yep. So that's a pretty... And Hoist, like we said, he didn't come back for a hot minute.
Yeah.
He's not back for another 50-plus events.
It's going to be a long time.
So it's going to be a long time before we in the UFC see him again. He was obviously fighting in other promotions, but we won't see him for a while. Okay, last event was the Brawl in Buffalo, of course.
I love that guy.
There is a rule change, and we teased it, I think, last episode, but just to remind, there is a rule change here. There are now decisions, and we do have decisions. In fact, we have 3 of them, so we will get to that. That was a very necessary change.
Yeah, absolutely.
You couldn't keep having draws.
Yeah.
It just, especially when the guys are getting better. That's why you had, if had there not been judges, you would have had 3 draws to close out the card. And
that's like the biggest stinker of all time.
If that would have happened, the UFC could have died.
What do? Split the money for the prize 3 ways?
Imagine that. It's one of those, like this, you couldn't have gotten any better.
Really, it'd be 6 ways.
You could not have you could not have added judges at a better time.
By the way, those judges, they were perfect.
for UFC 7.5.
Their little high dive signs for who won the fight.
Don't even get into that. We'll get into that in a second.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about the judges when we get to the actual where we use them, because there was one that's fucking hilarious that I wonder how many people noticed. Oleg, yeah. I wonder how many people noticed that. So,
I love Takarov.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get to that.
I know his real name, by the way, people.
So we already said the G-Man is back. That's pretty much it. That's all the early stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to talk about before we actually get to the fights?
Another pretty awesome intro to the card from Blatnick.
Yeah, they both do a good job. So Blatnick is the wrestler, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we got to talk about the movie promo.
Oh,
we got to
so
talk about
good.
that. I did not know that Blatnick's teeth were British. His teeth are just. I mean,
Oh man, they're
poor guy.
Dumpster fire.
Ooh. I did not. Had I just never seen him up close?
I don't know.
I feel like that might have been the closest we've seen him. Because man, poor dude, his teeth were just hella busted. I assume he has more money now and he's gotten those shark fangs taken care of.
Maybe he's just such a gangster. He's like, nah, tell me to my face.
Yeah, right. Listen, yeah, exactly. But also joining them again was Don Wilson, right?
Yeah.
The actor and
Returning from the last time.
Returning from the last time, and he did a pretty good job commentating.
Not bad.
But before they introduced him,
Oh, that
they
movie
played a
promo of
trailer
his.
for a movie that he was in. And what was it? It was a
like
vampire versus a dragon?
Yep, a vampire versus a dragon was how they described the
Oh
movie.
my lord.
It looked amazing.
By the way, we should do a bonus episode of MMA Yesterday where we watch that movie and do a review.
I'm about it.
I'm about that life.
You could even bring the Nicolas Cage crew on, probably.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll do a
We'll
crossover
merge the
podcast.
podcasts.
We'll do a crossover podcast and do a bonus episode where we review that movie. But yeah, how funny, how smart though of the UFC and of them. I mean, I bet you they paid for that. That wasn't
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
So they just used a movie promo to introduce Don Wilson,
Yep.
a movie that was coming out. That's smart.
And you know what? I lived through the 90s. I don't know who the hell that guy is. I don't recall ever seeing a film of his ever. Who is that guy?
Dude, I was still
have
shitting
no
in
idea.
diapers at this point in my life, so I never saw any of this, never heard of any of these
Although to be
people.
fair, Cody still shits in diapers. So I mean,
yeah.
he could describe any moment of his life as when he was shitting in diapers.
I'm also
was
hoping
born
to
in the-
avoid talking about that.
I was born in the far-off land of 1987.
Yeah, 89,
Yeah.
91,
4.
94.
Yeah, dude, I'm fucking
Fuck you,
baby.
Cody.
Right?
You look young,
I'll
but
watch you guys die.
yeah, you will.
I'm aging like wine over here.
I'm aging like horse shit, so it's dried up. I'm a dried up husk. Okay, let's get into the actual bracket, shall we?
There's a good bracket this time, man.
We sort of introduced the first fight, Tank Abbott versus Steve Jenham. Tank Abbott, of course, made his debut this past event at UFC 6. He won UFC 6. Steve Jenham, of course, famously won UFC 3.
As an alternate.
Where he came in as an alternate just for the final fight and won.
So we got a winner versus a winner.
So this is
here in
champion
first
versus
fight. Yep.
champion, 3 versus 6. And spoiler alert, Tank Abbott beats the fuck out of him.
Dude,
Was
that,
this the one that he won via hairline, or is that the next?
This is the one he wins via hairline.
Yeah,
he
okay,
does.
yeah.
He presses that haircut into him so hard that he has to just quit.
If
There
you
was no
haven't
stopping
seen, if you haven't seen Tank Abbott's haircut, especially here, because I don't recall noticing it in the last event, but here it's like his edges are real fine, and there's like a shadow fade. It's like his haircut, and then there's like another inch below everything where it's like shadowed out.
It's really weird.
I love it.
It's like he
It's-
got his haircut a day too early, so that shit down below has started to grow back.
It was
before the
weird.
shit
I don't know
get
how to
out.
even describe it.
he just trapped
trying
his
to
head
make
up
himself
against
more
the
aerodynamic.
fence.
Oh, and the way the Tank wins is
Yeah,
insane.
just presses his head up against the fence with his head, like twists his neck. Ugh.
He basically, here's the best way I can describe it. Tank Abbott gets a neck crank without using his hands.
It's pretty accurate.
I mean, that's basically all it was.
Go look into it, people.
Just look into it. Look into it.
it's nasty.
He was using his head to push against Steve Jenham's head. Right, Steve Jenham's head is on the cage.
His back's on the floor, but his head is twisted
Yeah,
like
his back-
90 degrees.
Exactly. Most of his back is on the floor. Basically, shoulders up is up against the cage.
Head twisted.
Tank Abbott is pressing his head into the side of Jenham's head, and Jenham's head is cranking.
Yeah.
And it looks really fucking uncomfortable.
It looks terrible.
I'm not gonna shit on the guy for tapping.
His scalp was like starting to press through
It
the back
looks
of the fence.
yes, it looks really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah, looks terrible.
Like on first hand, you go, did he just tap? Because it's just
Did
a pain.
he tap to that?
Yeah, and then they show the replay, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't want to mess with that either, because you probably feel like your neck's gonna break.
Yeah, if your neck starts even just popping or creaking one time,
You're like,
I'm
fuck that.
quitting.
You're like, I'm
I'll
done.
quit,
I'm
yeah.
not trying to die like this.
Yeah.
Getting paralyzed because I don't want to tap out in a fight. Like,
Yeah, it's not
screw
your
that.
arm or your leg. That's your neck.
No, it's your neck,
It's your
man.
walking.
Yeah, it's your everything.
Yeah.
Like your spinal cord is pretty vital to your existence.
Thank you. I'm done, sir.
Yes, yeah. Tap out, man. Not have another. All right, let's move on down. Anything we want to add? Tank Abbott's a beast.
Scary guy.
Scary dude.
Yeah. Unless you get him against Dan.
All right, next up we have Dan Severn taking on Paul Varlins. Again,
Two biggest men, probably, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Now, let me just say in the first fight, because the truth for the second fight, and we'll continue, but the right guy won. You know what I mean?
Again, yeah.
Like, it's one of those, like, when you look at Steve Jinham's pedigree and then you look at Tank Abbott's, you're like, okay, this is a no-brainer.
Same thing.
Clearly, Abbott is the better guy here. When you look at Severn's pedigree up to this point, and then you look at Paul Varlins, same thing.
Yeah.
Severn's clearly the better martial artist at this point,
Varlins
and he wins, and he shows it.
He's bigger, he's stronger, and he's got nothing for Dan.
How did Varlins get beat? Wasn't it another? It was another submission.
Yeah, it was a head and arm choke. He started trying to neck crank him.
That's what it was.
He gave up.
And the guys who work on the desk had no idea what to call it. But it was what we would call a head
and arm choke or an arm triangle.
Yeah.
By today's terminology.
I mean, and they had no idea what it even was.
Did he choke him? What was that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They had no idea what it was, which is again very indicative of.
They're asking if he was being choked. And I'm thinking to myself, like, he's going to sleep right now.
Yeah, he's not just being choked.
Sure, being choked.
He's being choked. Yeah. So yeah, Dan Severn's Paul Varlins is pretty much it. The first two fights together last 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I mean, they're not very long.
Yeah.
Together.
Cool
combined.
finishes for both of them too.
Yeah, good finishes, both of them. One's a head and arm choke. The other one is the handless neck crank.
I love Dan and I love Tank.
And they're gonna fight.
Oh.
Because of course that's the next leg of the bracket.
Oh yeah.
All right, moving on down, we have Marco Huas making his return. Now, did he win? Wait a minute. Did he win last event?
I think he did.
He won 6. So, he beat Abbott.
Was that 6 or 7?
Okay, that's what it is. Abbott won 6. Huas won 7.
Yep. Okay.
I said last event. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. It's because we're still on
7.5.
It's because we're still on a 7. So I was thinking last event was 6, and I knew that Abbott had won 6.
Yeah.
So I apologize, guys. I just fixed it. I'm not going to go back and change anything in the episode because fuck off. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But anyway, so Huas, again, look at the pedigree of Marco Huas. Look at the pedigree of Keith Hackney. It's not even close.
Nope.
It's not even close. First of all, Keith Hackney hadn't even won anything up to this point. He's been a runner-up, right? So he's
By the
now
grace of the gods.
So he's now the first fight. Well, Paul Varlins hadn't won anything either. He was also a runner-up. So Severn and Abbott had both, and Jinham had all 3 won. Varlins had not, and Hackney had not. Also, in the next fight, we'll get to Dave Beneteau, also was a runner-up.
Yeah.
Right? So those are the only 3 non-champions at this point. Interesting that Ken Shamrock isn't here.
Well, he's here.
He is. I'm saying interesting that he wasn't fighting.
He's on loan from the Vatican.
Yeah. Yes.
You see that outfit?
He is so Italianed out. He
looks ridiculous.
Nuts. He looks like a cartoon character of an Italian mafioso.
He looks like a background character in The Godfather.
Yes, seriously though.
Extra.
Yes, he looks like he's in a Francis Ford Coppola movie.
No neck.
No, it's covered by a white linen scarf. Yeah, dude, he is so Italian. His suit is the Italian cut. He has a red bow tie.
You can just tell
dude,
he's so jacked under that suit too.
Dude, he is all right. He looks so Italian when they cut to him.
His veins have abs.
But anyway, yeah, his veins have abs. I didn't know that one. But anyway, so it kind of because Ken Shamrock, I think, would have won something like this.
Yeah.
And then Hoist Gracie, of course, isn't here.
He's
right?
gone. Yeah.
I mean, that's the champion.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, interesting how he just disappears. I really would like to learn more about that.
Yeah.
I find that so interesting.
We'll
that
probably get some knowledge of it when we get going here. Get into Pride and some later stuff.
But anyway, Huas versus Hackney. I mean, it looked very similar to what happened is what you think happened. I mean, Huas threw some leg kicks. Hackney was using his weird crouching tiger stance.
You got a real fighter versus a karate guy.
Not
here.
really landing anything, and then finally Marco Huas just does his shit. I knock these things over.
Dude,
Cody
I've got it twice.
Cody
now.
got mad at himself that he hit the headphone thing. I do it all the time.
God damn it.
I do it all the time. It's one of the most annoying things. I want to get like my ultimate goal here. Ultimate.
God damn, you guys.
Good job, Matt. My ultimate goal is to get Bluetooth.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
Get Bluetooth. That's what I want to get to.
That'd be sweet.
Get a bigger mixing board that has a Bluetooth like signal on it, and actually do that.
Hit us up, sponsors.
Yep, hit us up. This is a good show to sponsor, even though we cuss a lot.
It's totally fine.
What are you gonna do?
We've moved past that.
There's nothing sticking out to me in the Huas Hackney fight other than like Marco Huas he looks good, man. He's a good fighter. Like
Keith Hackney tried a couple leg kicks back. He
I got one thing for you.
What?
His age. So if you remember in the last episode, we talked about how
he has aged from 3 question marks to undisclosed. I don't know how many years in aging that is, but he looks older.
Oh, but would you like to say the description or the reason?
I'm gonna leave that
why
to
it's
you
undisclosed
because you found that out. You deserve to tell everybody.
Okay, so guys, in the first event where you see Marco Huas, last event, right? They're question marks for his age. We talked about it last week, which we thought was funny.
Like the tail of the tape, just 3 question marks.
Just 3 question marks. This time around, it said undisclosed. We're like, what in the world? Like, how weird. And then Blatnick, who's on the mic, goes, and of course, Marco Huas told us that Brazilian men are like American women. They don't talk about their age.
Well, all right.
What? What a bizarre explanation. All right, so we did figure it out. How old was he? 34?
At the time, I think he was 34.
He was 34 at the time.
Yeah.
So we did figure that out. He was 34. Which really isn't even that old at
Why
all.
are you ashamed?
Dan Severn was 37.
Yeah.
So I don't know, bizarre. But anyway, he didn't want to say his age.
Who was that one guy that fought Hoist at like UFC 2 or 3?
Oh my God! It was the guy that worked the side. He was like one of the
Ron Van Cleef.
Ron Van Cleef.
That's the guy. That guy's fucking old.
He was like 50 when he got in there.
51 or something.
Yeah, he was old as shit.
Yeah,
he was anywhere between 49 and 50 something.
The balls on that guy,
dude.
Yeah,
and to get them with Hoist too.
Probably quite low.
Yeah, Cody. Well, he doesn't talk very much, but when he does, he
got
gets
a
one in
zinger
there.
for us.
I had to.
Unfortunately, he didn't say it dead into the mic, but hopefully most people heard it still. He said it kind of off to the side. The best thing Cody had to say, he turned his head. Anything else on the Marco Huas Keith Hackney fight?
Nah, pretty standard.
Kind of what you expected to happen.
Yeah.
Really thought he was going to win that fight.
And again, moving on down, I would say the same thing about this fight. You have Oleg fighting Dave Beneteau. Fight ends exactly how you think.
Yeah, if you thought Beneteau was going to win this fight, you're silly.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Oleg goes down. They gets him in a Russian leg lock. No, what was it? A calf slicer?
It was like a calf slicer, I guess you'd call it. It's not a heel hook. It's not a knee bar. He just cranks his leg.
Yeah, and just
forearm
it's
under
nasty.
the calf and
his knee does start kind of looking uncomfortable,
and ankle too,
and that's when he taps.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a nasty little leg thing, man.
Really just a pain move though, not something that's going to break your leg probably.
No, very similar to the first fight, right?
Yeah,
that's just pain. Listen, he's not going to break your neck in that position. It requires an incredible amount of force to break your neck.
Yeah,
you're not going to get your neck broken up against the cage
because
someone's
nerve
pushing
damage
on
or
it.
something.
Yeah, and you could you could get some tingling in your hands for the rest of your life. Like that, something like that could absolutely happen for sure.
But you're not going to break it.
You're not going to break your neck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's pain, and there's a certain level of pain that your body just goes, fuck that. It's like getting liver shot, man. That's just pain.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just pain, but your brain shuts down. Your brain's like, nah, fuck that. I'm done.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing you can really even do to fight through it. And that's kind of what that looked like. It didn't even look like he wanted to tap. It looked like all of a sudden his knee started moving over to the side.
Nope.
He immediately just started tapping. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like, and I don't know if it was the last event or not, but we had Pardo. Remember when, who was he fighting when he got top control?
Oh, it was Marco Huas.
It was it really?
Yeah, just tapped
and
him
as
out.
soon as he got in mount, he tapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was just like, fuck that. I'm not taking punches in the face.
Yeah. No punches and elbows for me.
Screw that. So our semifinals winds up being Tank Abbott versus Dan Severn and Marco Huas versus Oleg
Takarov,
which we'll get to. But so here's what's interesting about this one. We have 2 decisions. Now, do you think any of these fights, had there not been the time limit, right? Had there still been, 25 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever it was, do you think either of these fights would have gone the 30 minutes? Or do you think the reason why they were decisions is because there was an 18-minute time limit?
That's a good question. You got to think that as bad as we'll get into it, as bad as Dan was beating Tank here, you got to think he probably could have finished that really any time he wanted.
You'd think if there was an additional about 10 minutes that he could have made that happen.
Yeah. I mean, he could have choked him or something.
I would say even a couple more minutes.
He just controlled him the whole fight.
Now, the first fight, I believe, was Tank Abbott, Dan Severn.
I think it might have been the first semi.
That was the first semi. Dan Severn just... I don't know... I would love to see the actual stats on this. I don't know if that even exists, and I'm not going to go look it up right now. But I don't know if Abbott landed much of anything. He landed
some backwards headbutts.
He landed when they stood up at one point for the 30 seconds that the fight was on the feet.
The last 30 seconds of the fight.
Basically.
Yeah.
I think Abbott landed a couple little half spinning elbow things.
But nothing significant.
But nothing really got clean. And again, if he landed anything, he landed maybe 10 strikes. Dan Severn laid on that dude's back, got in side control, got in full mount, got back on his back, grabbed the leg, grabbed the arm, grabbed the neck.
The back of his neck.
Dude, over and over and over again. And he kept punching him, and he either hurt his hand or realized he was going to.
Because he slapped for the
he
rest of the night.
Slapping him. Just start slapping him in his fucking head over and over again. He landed those straight down palm strikes on his face. But Tank Abbott, God bless the man, I don't even think he bled.
He ain't no quitter.
Dude, I don't even think he bled.
And he's made out of leather or something.
I mean, if there was blood, it was very minimal.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was an absolute ass beating.
He took a beating.
So is that Severn? Do you think Severn just doesn't have any type of finishing prowess?
No, I think, because he finished with that choke earlier on in the night. That was a beautiful choke. I don't think he really has any
striking. Paul Varlan's, though.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to strike Tank out of there. Ground and pound him or anything like that.
I was so impressed with Tank's leather skin.
Yeah.
It's just insane to be able to get hit that much. I mean, he's getting elbowed in the back of the head, side of the head. Most of the elbows were landing on his brain stem. It was like that part of the soft part of your neck.
Like 12 to 6s too.
Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And nothing. He stayed in there.
Throwing backwards headbutts right after they land, trying to hit him.
Yeah. So this one goes to a decision. Dan Severn clearly gets the nod. It wasn't even close.
He knew he had the win as soon as he stood up.
Yeah, and Tank, I think, and showing kind of what you'd expect from Tank.
He was so mad he literally climbed the cage.
Climbed out of the cage because they wouldn't open the door.
And left.
Because they hadn't announced the winner yet. He climbs the cage, gets out, doesn't say anything to anybody, and just leaves.
He was hungry, dude. I don't know.
He was. He wanted some Taco Bell.
Build up a good appetite.
Yeah, but I think, it's not shocking from a guy like Tank Abbott. It's not shocking. It's not shocking in the slightest. That kind of seems how the dude is. But I also love when they were introducing this fight, Blatnick goes, when they're talking about their styles, and he goes, Tank Abbott, pit fighting, whatever that is, versus Dan Severn. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite moments of the whole card.
That was a good one.
Whatever that is.
All right, let's move on down. We have Marco Huas taking on Oleg Taktarov. Yeah, so we'll just jump to that. The fight ends in a decision. Taktarov wins, clearly.
And they don't know how to spell. At least one of the judges
doesn't spell it right, which I thought was really funny.
So he holds up his paper plate dinner sign.
Okay. That's the other thing. We didn't even talk about this in the first fight there, or in the first semifinal, because it goes to a decision. Here's how they are announcing the decision. It's not a scorecard. All the judges have what are essentially badminton.
It appears to be a paper plate with a handle.
Yeah.
They're like dollar store mirrors. Like you just go pick up a mirror, throw some whiteboard shit on it, and
what was funnier about it is here's what it actually looked like, and it very well may have been this. It literally looked like badminton because it wasn't as thick as a tennis racket.
Yeah.
Excuse me. With a piece of cardboard that they were just writing on.
Like tape it to the racket.
That's what it looked like.
It looked
honestly,
very low budget.
Could have been that.
Yeah. One of those cooking screens that you put over your frying bacon to keep the grease in.
But anyway, So Tektarov wins. I guess, what is there to say about this? The fight barely went to the ground, which I thought was very interesting, right? You have Huas fighting Oleg. I mean, you would think that most of this fight would go on the ground.
You'd think it wouldn't also be a fucking snooze fest, but it was.
It was. I mean, even the first fight where Severn was clearly beating the shit out of Abbott.
It was at least fun to watch.
It was fun to watch, but even that got boring because you're just like, what is even happening? Like, nothing's even really happening here. And had you not been able to elbow in the back of the head, they would have been stood up.
You can appreciate the level of control and stuff, though, but that's about it.
But that's about it. This one was just boring.
It was a stinker.
It just honestly just wasn't a very fun fight
Total
to watch.
stinker. And you know what, really? Like, you could have given it to either guy.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to our finals. We have Dan Severn.
Oleg won, by the way.
Versus Oleg. Yeah, Oleg won the fight, wins the decision. Again, not super fun. Stayed on the feet a lot longer than I imagined. Which is, I guess, good for Oleg to stand on the feet with Marco Huas and really not and win. I mean, that's a big deal.
Took the leg kicks.
Again, he's clearly one of the top tier guys. Right? I think he's proving it.
Yeah.
So Dan Severn versus Oleg. We should say again, the winner of this gets $150,000.
Not bad.
I don't know what the other guys get, but the winner gets
walking around
150
money.
G's.
Really, that much?
Yeah,
150 G's.
And 95. That's a lot of damn money.
Yeah.
It's more money than all the undercard fighters right now in the UFC are making combined.
Yeah, Dan Severn made like $65K to win just 2 or 3 events ago, whatever that was.
How much did it cost to buy the event?
Don't know.
That's a good question, man.
Yeah.
What was the pay-per-view cost?
I know guys who were buying these pay-per-views back then, so I bet you they'd know.
Yeah, you got to ask somebody.
Yeah, one guy, Keith, is probably listening to this. Keith, what the pay-per-views cost back then?
So curious.
Yeah, me too.
What do you think?
They even showed at one point where you could buy the pay-per-views. CompuServe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that CompuServe
Remember, they
ad.
had an ad right in the middle of it for CompuServe, and it was like, you can buy this on the, I don't even know if they even called it internet. They called it something else.
The World Wide Web.
Yeah, something, right?
Yeah. What do you guys think was the pay-per-view cost? Just out of curiosity, what, like $19.99?
That's my guess, $19.99.
$20, $30, something like that?
Not 30.
No.
I feel like. I mean, listen, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but
Yeah.
$20
$20
seems much more reasonable.
realistic.
$19.99.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be really expensive if you think about it.
Yeah, but who doesn't have $20 to watch some cool
Yeah,
fights?
but think about what a movie ticket would cost in the mid '90s.
Think about how many
it would
pay-per-views
have been
you'd
$4
buy.
or $5.
Think about how many pay-per-views you'd buy in 2018 if they were $20.
Oh, I'd buy every one.
You'd buy every
I'd buy
fucking
every one
one,
without
pretty
even
much.
questioning it.
Yeah, that'd be so good. And why does Fight Pass not have like a discounted rate on their pay-per-views
Yeah.
or something? It's some kind of deal.
You're paying $10 a month and you can't even give me a discount on the pay-per-view.
Doesn't the WWE Network do that with their pay-per-views? I think that like all of their subscribers to the WWE Network get to watch the pay-per-views, which I think is fantastic. Not that I watch wrestling, but that's an incentive to use their network.
Yeah, for real.
Get on that shit, UFC.
Yeah,
Give us a
agreed.
discounted rate or something at least.
At least.
At least.
Dan Severn versus Oleg. Fight goes 30 minutes. 30 minutes, and you feel every minute of it.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't as boring. I don't. Again, I hate to call them boring because
No, this was at least a competitive fight.
and these are the best of the best guys, man. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to get either person out easy.
They're chess matches.
So they last for a while. But I think clearly Severn landed way more damage.
Yeah.
I mean, the fight kept having to get paused.
He landed more damage with palm strikes.
Oh, dude.
He had quit punching by this time.
I lost count of how many times Big John had to step in and go get cuts checked out because there was getting blood
The
everywhere.
headbutts, too. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Did you wind up finding what the pay-per-view cost was,
Nope.
Cody? Can't find
It's
it.
going to take a little bit more digging than I'm.
But we'll get
wanted
it
to
for
do.
next next week. We're doing UFC 8. We should know what the number was.
I'm so
Somebody
stoked
will
for
let us
UFC
know.
8, by the way.
Me too.
Got to get Gary on here.
Me too.
gonna
I'm
be
jacked.
awesome.
I can't wait. Somebody will let us know. This episode will be up on Monday, I think. But yeah, goes to a decision. I mean, really nothing else to say. I mean, biggest takeaway from this is the first of the kind, right? Again, we're adding judging, so that's something that's now I think going to be good. I think this is going to be a positive step.
Yeah.
I'm interested in what our first controversial decision is going to wind up being.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to witness that. Because these decisions here, none of them are controversial.
Yeah. Not yet.
Dan Severn clearly won the finals and the semis. Severn clearly beat Tank, and Oleg clearly beat Marco. Right? So,
Not necessarily a decision, but there's a weird moment in like stoppages coming up when they have UFC Japan and Sakuraba fights this Brazilian guy.
okay.
They like stop the fight. Like Big John thinks that Sakuraba was knocked out when he was shooting for a takedown, just like the way he drops to shoot for a takedown. And it's the weirdest thing. They like stop the fight, and then like Sakuraba won't leave the cage, and he makes him restart the fight. There's some weird stuff coming up.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Is there anything is there any takeaway? Because this is all the best guys in the UFC.
Dan's a beast.
Right?
Take that away.
That's a big takeaway.
Dan's a beast.
He really
man.
is. He's getting
no
better.
pun intended.
He's getting better.
Yeah.
They kept saying the beast is back.
He never went anywhere.
You motherfuckers. Well, because that was the name of an event.
Oh man.
They're pushing that guy. So next up we have UFC 8. It's David versus Goliath.
The
David versus
debut
Goliath.
of our boy Gary Goodridge.
This is
friend
also
of the podcast.
This is also the debut of having a. It's not too abroad. It's Puerto Rico, which is still
Hey,
part of the country.
we're on tour.
But
Still
this
moving
is
around.
this is the furthest that they've gone, right? As far as that's concerned, right? You're not CONUS, as we would say. But yeah, so that's pretty cool to see them in Puerto Rico. This event takes place early 1996. So yeah, David versus Goliath. I'll give something away. The super fight is Ken Shamrock versus Chemo.
Oh shit!
So this is our first time seeing Chemo back.
I forgot Chemo was talked to in this card as well, like Ken was. They did stop by and talk to Chemo. Remember his sunglasses and earrings and everything? His cool beard.
Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about that either. I forgot. He looked crazy.
Oh my goodness, he's a treasure.
Like, when was that a thing? All right, anything else anyone wants to add before we get out of here?
UFC 8, man. Gary Goodridge, Paul Herrera. I'm so excited.
Me too, man.
It's gonna be awesome.
All right, you can find the podcast at Loudmouth MMA wherever you listen to a podcast. Please check out MMA Today. This is MMA Yesterday, featuring myself, Kyle Steele, Matthew Hitchcock. Matthew, goodbye, and Kody Sortman.
Farewell. Thanks
Everybody
for
have a
having
good day,
me.
man.
Kody, goodbye.
I'll be back next week.
See you guys.
Red